Hey, welcome to Polynomial Operations and Factoring. Today we're going to talk about what a polynomial actually is. We're going to talk about adding and subtracting and multiplying polynomials. So kind of bear with me here. If you do have questions, reminder that you are being recorded, so you'll be a part of the video for many years to come. Polynomial is an expression with a whole number or an exponent. The exponent cannot be a negative value or a fraction. A degree is the highest power of your exponent, or the highest exponent number that you have. And standard form is taking a polynomial or a monomial and writing it in order from greatest to least. So I'm going to show you, first off, this is what we call a polynomial. You guys have all seen these before. It's literally just a bunch of what we call monomials. Monomial means one. So for instance, this is 1, and this is 1. Those are all monomials. Combined, they create a polynomial, okay, or many monomials. In order to write this in standard form, we look at what the degrees are. Degrees are literally just the highest exponent value that you possibly have. So if I'm looking at these situations, 4x squared, that has a 2. X has a 1, and then 9 actually has a x to the 0 power, because anything to the 0 power equals 1. Okay, so that's how we kind of look at it. So in this case, if I was rewriting this, I would start negative 4x squared plus x plus 9. Again, rewriting in standard form, you always look at the highest degree exponent. So in this case, it's negative m cubed. And then you go down the line. Negative m cubed. Here, there's 2 m's, so minus 3m squared. Here, there's 1m, so it'll be plus 2m. And then here, there's 0 m's, so plus 9. Think of it as highest degree to you have no variables at all, essentially. And that is what a polynomial consists of. Now, this is really the whole polynomial thing. It's mainly a foundation for how we add and subtract them. And some of you already probably know how to do this because you combine terms in your geometry sections that you've had. So for instance, in the one section where we do section 2.5, where you solve for x, that was literally a part of polynomial combinations. Some polynomials have special names. So I'm going to go down through these names. You guys, during the years of COVID, you get to use your notes. So you can kind of always refer to these. But polynomial of 12, just to kind of show you here, and let me get my notes real quick. I have these all written down nice and neat, and I just want to double check my work. This is one term. We call that a monomial. It has a degree of 0, which we call a constant. The next one has one term. It is also called a monomial because it has one term. It has 1 degree because it has an x to the first, which we call linear. And I'm sure that you guys have probably all heard of what linear is before. It makes a straight line. 4x squared plus 3, that is 2 terms. That is called a binomial. It has a highest degree or exponent of 2, so we call it a quadratic. The next one also has 2 terms, so again, that's a binomial. Its highest degree, though, is 3, so we call it cubic. The next one has 4 terms. So we're just going to classify that by saying that it is a polynomial of 4 terms. It has a highest degree of 4, which we call quartic. The next one has 3 terms. We call that a trinomial. Highest degree is 5, which we call quintic. The next one has 4 terms. That is, once again, a polynomial of 4 terms. Its highest degree is 6. So after 5, we just mainly say it as 6th degree. And then the last one here, it has 3 terms. Again, that's another trinomial. So its highest degree is 7, so we'd say 7th degree. So really, there's not any special names afterwards. There are, but we don't really teach them here. But these are the number of terms, classifies how many terms or how many plus or minuses are in between. Monomials, binomials, and trinomials are the big ones that you'll know. And then name of degrees, constant, linear, quadratic, cubic are usually the top big ones there. Quartic and quintic, we also use them. Okay. I am going through this rather quickly, so again, if you guys do have any questions, just let me know. Yes? Oh, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to take a picture of this or screenshot it, you can. Oh, you're welcome. All right, so here's how to add or subtract polynomials. Finding the sum. Whenever we're looking at polynomials and we're adding them together, we want to look for, first off, we want to look to see if we need to distribute the middle sign, in case we don't. But we also want to look and see which ones are comparable or which ones are similar with their exponents. So for instance, 2x squared and 4x squared are similar, so I can combine them to create 6x squared. Let's do this one in blue. Negative 3x and positive 7x, they both have the same x there, so that's going to add to give me positive 4x. And then I have my constants, which 5 and negative 2 add to give me 3. And that is how I get my my polynomial. So adding, I get 6x squared plus 4x plus 3. I'm going to ask you to try example 2 real quick. See if you can add these polynomials together to create one expression in standard form. Take a minute. You can use example 2 as practice, but just take a look at it and try on your own. And then we'll look at my answer and see if we're kind of similar. Write an expression. Try and simplify it though. So like you see the x squareds together, try and combine. Take a minute. I'm going to tell you the answer, and then you guys can check your work, see if you are on the right track. Okay, if you take a look at perimeter, perimeter means to add. So I'm going to put a plus sign in between each of these. There's that one, plus 2x squared plus x squared plus x. I have the habit of marking things off when I'm done with them. It's a good habit to have. Then I want to look and see everything that has an x squared to it. These just regular x squareds have an imaginary 1 in front. So I really have 1 plus 2, which is 3, plus 1, which is 4, plus 2, which is 6. So I have 6x squared. And then I have the other 2 x's. So that'll give me plus 2x, because those also have an imaginary 1 in front of them. I know that everybody online has their cameras off. Everybody in class, how many of you have ever seen this done before? One person, 1.5 people. Okay, so kind of. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Okay, so a lot of newcomers to this. Here's example 4. This is finding the difference. So in this problem, we have a negative symbol, and with this negative symbol, we have to distribute it to everything that is behind it in the parentheses. So I'm going to rewrite my new equation as 4x squared plus 3x plus 2 minus 2x squared plus 3x minus 7. I then need to combine my like terms again, things that have the same value x, y. I'm looking at the coefficient. Coefficient means the number out front of the x value, and then I have to add or subtract those together. So 4 minus 2 gives me 2x squared, still keep the back half. I have plus 3x here and plus 3x here, so that's plus 6x. And then I have 2 and negative 7, which gives me negative 5. So 2x squared plus 6x minus 5. Okay. So far, not too bad. Not terrible? Okay. I'm going to mix it up a little bit. We're going to do multiplying. This is something that's going to be completely new to you. This is something that they call either the FOIL method, or I like to call it double distribution. Check this out. Find each product. Product means the answer to a multiplication problem. Double distribution is a method used to multiply polynomial expressions. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take your finger on these, and this is how I do them usually. So I take my finger and I cover up, so for instance, the x plus 2, I cover up the 2, with my finger, and then I distribute the x over to the x and the 4. So rules of exponents, that would end up giving me x times x plus 4 times x. I'm going to switch my color. Then I'm going to cover up with my finger, I'm going to cover up that first x, and I'm going to double distribute. They also call it the FOIL method, you'll hear, but this is kind of what I use. So in this case, I have plus 2 times x plus 2 times 4. So now I'm going to combine. X times x is x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 8. Last, I need to combine my like terms. So x squared plus 6x plus 8 will be my final answer. They also call this, aka, FOIL method. FOIL stands for first, outside, inside, last. And as you can see, if you multiply the first two, and then you multiply the outside, you get the 4x, then you multiply the inside to get the 2x, and then you multiply the last two, which is 2 and 4, to get the 8. But I like double distribution is so much easier. Try letter B on your own. Use these notes that I'm giving you, and try letter B on your own. See if you can do it. Take a minute to try and use that double distribution method. Okay, when you double distributed the first one, did you get x times x, or x squared? Then x times 4, so plus 4x. And then 2, negative 2 times x, and negative 2 times 4, which is negative 8. Simplify. You should get x squared plus 2x minus 8. How did you do? Good? Okay. Take a look at C. C is a little bit different. All you have to do is distribute one time. So when you distribute one time, you end up with 3 times 2, which is 6, x squared, because you have 2 x's, we square them. And then 3x times 5, so 15, we got that, include that minus, 15x. And there's our answer for C. What I'd like you to do, okay, we do have quite a few practice problems on here. We're going to talk about greatest common factors another day. Is I would like you to try D and E on your own. See if you can complete these. I'll give you guys the answers in a couple minutes, and then we'll wrap up with one other problem that I want to show you, and then I'll stop the video, and then if you guys have any additional questions, you can kind of let me know. Maybe about another 30 seconds or so. I'm going to write this one out the long ways here. 3x times 5x. And then plus 3x times 1 plus 2 times 5x plus 2 times 1. So combine these terms, you get 15x squared plus 3x plus 10x plus 2. And we want to combine our 3x and our 10x. So we get 15x squared plus 13x plus 2. Yes. The second one. Let me highlight. What's that? Yeah. So here's the first, these two. And then the outside would have been the 3x and the 1. And then the inside, 2 and the 5x. And then the 2 and the 1 for the outside. Are you okay? You seeing it now? Is that too much highlighter? Okay. Sorry. Sometimes I get carried away with the highlighting. Look at this one here. Distribute x squared. Distribute 6x. Cover that one up with your finger if you need to. Then distribute again. Negative 6x. And then 6 times 6, so negative 36. These two cancel out. X squared minus 36 will be your answer. Yes. That's fine as well. Yep. X squared plus negative 36 is fine too. All right. Hey, so two other problems that I do want to show you. This first one says 2x plus 6, and it has a 2 or a squared outside of it. On these types of problems, you actually have to rewrite it twice and then FOIL. So 2x plus 6 times 2x plus 6. Okay, then FOIL or the double distribution. So in this case, 2 times 2, so 4, and then 2x's, so x squared. 2x times 6, so you get 12x. 6 times 2x, so you get 12x. And 6 times 6, so you get 36. Combine your like terms. 4x squared plus 24x plus 36. So anytime that you see one binomial, essentially, because there's two terms, binomial squared, you have to write it twice. Then you have to do your distribution. The last one, letter G, if you notice, we have one binomial, the 2x minus 4, and then we have the other one, which is a trinomial, 2x squared minus x minus 3. We are going to have to distribute to each one of those. So let me show you how this is done. First off, we're going to do 2x times 2x squared. So we'll have 4x to the third power. 2x times negative x. So minus 2x squared, which is the second power, because we have two of them. And 2x minus 3, so minus 6x. Then we have to take our negative 4 and distribute it as well. So negative 4 times 2x gives us negative 8x squared. Negative 4 times negative x gives us positive 4x because two negatives create a positive. And 4 times x is 4x. And then negative 4 and negative 3 Two negatives again create a positive. 4 times 3 is 12. We want to combine our like terms. So right there's two of our like terms. 4x cubed minus, combining our like terms, 10x squared. Minus 2x, there's another two terms, minus 6 and positive 4x that we combine, plus 12. Okay? And I'll rewrite that answer here without highlighter. This is as simplified as we can go. We can never combine terms that have different x values, ever. Okay? Say that again. You can only combine things that have, like, for instance, if you have one term with an x squared and you have another term with an x squared, you can combine them. But if you have one term with an x squared and the other term with an x, you just have to leave it alone. Leave it alone. Okay.